Okay, I will call to order the Murray City Planning Commission meeting for Thursday, June 6, 2024. It is 6:31 p.m. Present this evening, we have Commissioners Michael Henry, Lisa Malkiewicz, Vice Chair Ned Hacker, Jake Pearson, and Pete Haristo. I am Maren Patterson, I'm the chair. Excused is Michael Richards. From staff, we have Zachary Smallwood, David Rogers joining us for the first time, and Mustafa Al-Janabi and Mark Richardson. We want to welcome the public, and we're grateful for you attending our meeting. Some etiquette to review, we ask that you take a moment to silence your cell phones. When the time comes to make a comment on an agenda item, we ask that you come to the podium and speak into the microphone. We ask that you state your name and address for the record. And once the item that you are here for is over, you are welcome to leave. We just ask that you leave quietly so we can continue our meeting and our remaining items. If you are viewing this meeting on the live stream, the only way to make a public comment is to email planningcommission@murray.utah.gov. If you post a comment on the Facebook feed or the YouTube feed, it will not be seen for this meeting. Okay, and with that, we will start on our agenda items. Our first agenda item is approval for the minutes of the May 2nd meeting, Murray City Planning Commission meeting. Have all the commissioners had an opportunity to review these minutes?
Yes.
I'll entertain a motion.
Madam Chair, I'd like to make a motion that we accept the minutes from the May 2nd, 2024 meeting as written in our packet.
Great. Is there a second?
I'll second that.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, motion passes. Next agenda item is conflict of interest. Do any of the commissioners have a conflict of interest with our agenda items this evening?
No.
No, neither do I. All right, there were no findings of facts for this meeting, so we'll move on to agenda item number 4, a conditional use permit for Halatapu Community Cultural Center. Is the applicant here?
I think I saw somebody walking around.
Okay,
I think I saw her walking around. I thought she came in, but I was talking to that gentleman. So I'll run it.
Oh, do you
I'll
want to
have,
see?
Mustafa, would you mind running out and seeing if,
Just if they're,
I saw her walk this way.
oh.
But just take a look and see if there's
She
somebody
left?
wandering around looking for the council chamber.
I think we can move on.
Should we do
Do you want,
agenda item
it's up
5?
to the commission if you
Or
guys
do
want to
do you guys
still.
want to just
Yes, let's
move
move
to
on.
agenda item? Okay, we will come back to this and move on to agenda item number 5, zone map amendment for the Milne property. Is the applicant here? Also no?
I guess not.
Okay. Let's try our items 6 and 7. A general plan amendment and a zone map amendment for Ubaraj Sapkota, is that right? You're here? Okay, thank you. We'll have a presentation by staff, except our staff just left.
This is just chaos. Today is just
for
chaos.
this application. Okay.
I can
So-
start reviewing it. That's
Okay.
fine. I know it enough.
We'll start with Zach.
Okay. Yeah, this is a request for a general plan amendment from office to low-density residential and a zone map amendment from GO to R18. GO stands for general office, R18 is low-density single-family. It's located right off of 900 East at 935 East and 5172 South. As mentioned, it is in the GO zone currently. I apologize. It's also in the future land use map as office. So, some of the zoning standards here, single families, lots are not allowed in the GO zone. And in the R18, they're 8,000 square foot, minimum per lot. Heights, 30 and 35 feet, so they're allowed to go about 5 feet higher Front yard setback is 20 in the GO, 25 in R18. Rear yard is 20, 25 in the R18. So side yard setbacks actually get a little less, so a total of 8, or I'm sorry, a minimum of 8 for a total of 20 on both sides. If it does abut in the GO, if it abuts residential, then it would be 20 feet. Corner yard, 20 across the board, that's pretty standard in all our zones. Parking required is usually 4 stalls per 1,000 square feet of net usable space. And then in the R18 zone, that is 2 spaces per dwelling. Allowed land uses, they're pretty opposite. So they allow, professional office type uses and is used to be a buffer between residential and heavier commercial, like our CD zone, and much higher commercial development. Conditional uses, retirement homes, communication, travel agencies, restaurants, things like that. R18 is largely just single-family detached dwellings. We do allow for charter schools and residential childcare facilities as permitted. As conditional uses, PUDs in planned unit developments. This in no way could have a planned unit development. It's only big enough for one single-family home. Transmitting stations, churches, libraries, again, these just aren't big enough. The property's not big enough that this would ever come into play. Findings here, sorry, did you have a question? Oh, okay. General plan provides for flexibility in its implementation. We saw this, the applicant saw this as an opportunity for a potential home. We see the same thing. It kind of starts to bleed into the neighborhood, that GO zone, so we feel like this is a good change in general. So with that, we've reviewed both of the requests to amend the general plan and the zoning map, so there will need to be 2 motions here. But we are recommending that the planning commission forward a recommendation of approval for both. So, questions, comments?
Can you maybe just say more about so you showed what the allowed uses would be, but like why this project, like what is different about the rezoning of this specific lot? Could only be one thing.
Yeah, so really it's only large enough, it's only about 0.2 acres, which is just a little over, I think that's her, a little over 8,000, it might be about 10,000 square feet. Yeah, so it's definitely, all you could really do here is a single family home. And currently in the GO, you wouldn't get, it's not large enough to put an office building and parking on that separate property.
But it could be utilities or, what else is on our list, a cemetery, anything that falls in with 1.8, right?
Yeah,
It could be,
I mean, it could,
but it's not likely in this case.
not
but-
likely, no.
Any other questions for staff? Okay, we'll have the applicant come forward. Thank you for being here. Will you state your name and address for the record?
Okay, that's a project address or my home address?
Either address.
Okay, my home address is, I live in Murray City too. I have a 3 home in Murray City. I'm currently living in 1084 East Chevy Chase Drive,
Okay,
Murray, Utah, 84117, and close to that location.
great. Oh, will you just say your name for the record, just so I know how to say it?
Yubaraj, Yubaraj, that's my first name. Last name is Sapkota, Sapkota.
Great, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Is there any additional information you'd like to give the commission about this zone and general plan change?
No,
No?
no.
Okay, does the commission have any questions for applicant? Okay,
Okay.
thank you so much.
Thank you.
Okay, at this time, I will open the meeting for public comment regarding this item. If you would like to make a comment on this agenda item, we ask that you come up and state your name and address for the record. Try to keep your thoughts to 3 minutes. We ask that you offer new information in your comments. Please do not restate things that have already been stated. And after the public comment portion of this meeting, we will address any questions or concerns that you bring up about this agenda item with either the applicant or staff. So is there anyone that would like to comment on this item?
Thank you, Commissioners. My name is Keith Burnett. I live at 5182 South, 935 East. If you look at your map showing this property in question, I am the property owner immediately to the south of this property. I have no problems with this. In fact, when I moved in 30 years ago, there was a goat dairy there, so I've seen all kinds of weird things going in. So a house would be nice. I gave your staff the issue that I need to speak in today is that my sewer line does not go out into 935 East, into the street that I front on. It actually runs through this vacant lot over to the sewer line in Searle. And I was told by the gentleman that was the original owner of that vacant lot, not the people that sold to this gentleman, but previously owners, that the reason that that was done back in the 70s or 80s, whenever the house was built, was that there was not enough fall from my basement to go into the line in Searle. It had to go out to the line in, or to the line in 935, had to go north into the line in Searle. Anyway, I gave your staff a map showing that. All I am concerned about is making sure that the new property owner and any development plans that he has going forward, recognizing that that line is out there in that property. It runs fairly close to the sidewalk, so there should be plenty of space actually to build whatever it is that he wants to build to the west. I'm just making sure that this started getting in the record and is something that is taken into consideration moving forward.
Great. Did you give one of those plans to the applicant?
I will.
Okay.
He wasn't here when I gave this stuff to them.
Great. Okay,
Anyway,
thank you.
any questions I can answer for you guys?
I don't think so.
Okay, thank you very much.
Questions for staff?
Okay, thank you. Anyone else that would like to speak to this agenda item? Okay, then I will close the public comment period. Zach, can you just maybe comment?
Yeah, so that will be addressed if and when they apply for a building permit. So I believe in the staff report, it won't be, I would have to double check, but most likely what I anticipate happened is when wastewater commented, because that would have only been Murray's wastewater. If they commented, they would probably say something like, we have no issues, just reach out to Cottonwood Improvement District
Okay,
to verify. We don't send them to outside utilities, so when it's time for him to construct a building, he'll have to go to Cottonwood Improvement and possibly either relocate that line, or that's where he will tie in.
Okay.
That's up to Cottonwood Improvement.
But that's when
Okay.
they would catch that.
Yep, they would catch it at the building permit,
Okay.
yep.
so just so that you are aware, sorry, not to interrupt, we're just trying to answer your question really fast. So, our planner said that you would need to work with Cottonwood Improvement District when a plan to build is approved, to either tie into a new line on the property or how they want to solve that. So, just so that you're both aware what your next steps would be once you submit plans to build that property.
Yep.
What's it, what, like, there's like usually on a property, like a building envelope, right, when they make a plan, so could they adjust that envelope to be either like outside of where the
Yeah, typically, and if there's an easement located there that Cottonwood Improvement has, which I would anticipate there is, that would just change that building envelope a little bit.
how
Yeah.
they could
And it
build
could,
on that property.
it very well could just be pretty close to the property line, within like 10 feet. I'm not sure.
Okay.
And
We
so,
don't, we really don't know. We don't want to mislead the property owners. We don't know if there's any legal agreement there, if it's in the Cottonwood easement, or if it was a handshake between gentlemen years ago.
exactly, and
don't-
that's not in the commission's purview either.
Right,
That
and
would
so
be-
to change the zoning, this isn't affected because those problems would be resolved at the next stage of this process.
Correct.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. Any other?
But it was not, it was good to know.
Yeah, I think that that's helpful to go into it,
Yeah.
having that information.
Is it possible, though, that easement would restrict them from being able to use that property as intended in the new zoning?
Possibly, but I mean, it
But if
would,
he's
under any
applied for
zoning.
it, yeah.
Yeah, in any zoning, it
But
would,
the owners need to hear that we're acknowledging there could be problems that are outside our purview, and we're
right,
not
and
saying.
they should, and they know that this is not, you guys are not approving them to build a house. You are making
change
a
in
recommendation to change the color on a map.
Well, what I'm saying is just because we changed that zoning, if there's something else there that restricts them from being able to build.
That-
It's no different
That's
than
the
what,
choice that they
it's
have
no
anything to
different
do
than
with
what's there now.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That
And-
would also restrict them from
yeah,
building.
they're not,
So it doesn't matter either way, in the planning commission's purview.
right.
Okay.
I think we understand, but he didn't hear any of that. You might want to go back and listen, because I just.
Yeah,
heard him
and I do feel it's really distracting, your conversation. So if you could just wait until after the meeting, you could maybe go talk more outside, if that would be okay. Okay, is there any further discussion, or is there a motion for this item?
Madam Chair, I'd make a motion that we forward a recommendation of approval to the city council for the requested amendment to the future land use map, redesignating the property located at 5172 South, 935 East from office to low-density residential.
All right, I have a motion, is there a second?
I'll second it.
Okay, I have a motion from Commissioner Hacker and a second from Commissioner Haristo to forward a recommendation of approval to the city council for requested amendment to the future land use map, redesignating the property located at 5172 South, 935 East from office to low-density residential. Is there any discussion on that motion? Okay, we can take a vote.
Perfect. Commissioner Hacker,
Yes.
Commissioner Haristo?
Yes,
Oh my gosh, I'm all out of business. Commissioner Henry,
Yes.
Commissioner Milkovich,
Yes,
Commissioner Pearson,
Yes.
and Chair Patterson.
Yes. Okay, for our zoning map, is there a motion?
Madam Chair, I'll make another motion, forward a recommendation to approval for the city council for the requested amendment to the zoning map designation of the property located at 5172 South, 935 East from OG General Office to R18 Single Family Low Density Residential as described in the staff report.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
Okay. I have a motion by Commissioner Hacker and a second by Commissioner Pearson to forward a recommendation of approval to the city council for the requested amendment to the zoning map designation of the property located at 5172 South, 935 East from GO General Office to R18 Single Family Low Density Residential as described in the staff report. Is there any discussion on that motion? No. Okay, we can take a vote.
Commissioner Hacker,
Yes.
Commissioner Pearson,
Yes.
Commissioner Haristo,
yes.
Commissioner Milkovich,
yes,
Commissioner Henry,
Yes.
and Chair Patterson.
Yes. Okay, so both of those items will go on to the city council for them to be changed, so that will be the next step. Thank you for being here tonight. Okay, so we're gonna go backwards to agenda item number 4. Is the applicant here? Yes, great. All right, we'll have our presentation by staff.
Thank you. Yeah, this is a request from representatives of Halatapu Community Cultural Center at 5284 South Commerce Drive, Units C154, C154, C134, and C104. It's located just north of 5300 South in the I-15 intersection here, located on your screen. It's in the Cedar Park. I don't know what to call it. It's kind of like an office building, but it's not. There's a mix of office and retail users on both these sites. However, this third building called the Atrium Building, they all share parking and access across all three properties. It is located in the CD Commercial Development Zone, which does allow for community gathering spaces and public assembly in this zone with subject to conditional use permit approval. So in your packet, you can, the floor plans were provided. So you can see here, outlined in red. I apologize, some of this is upside down and some of it's right side up. But you can see they have some space for dance classes, cultural hall, small store space that they mentioned that they would rent out to local startups, pop-up shops, then also a podcast recording space. So a couple things, there are 3 points of access measured here with the three circles. And the really complex thing was trying to figure out parking for this use. We don't have a specific standard for a cultural center. So it is within the Planning Commission's purview to make a recommendation on parking based on as long as it's pretty sound judgment. So what I did was look at the dance hall use, and that would have required 3 spaces per 100 square feet of floor area, which would have resulted in over 100 parking spaces for this use. I felt like that wasn't appropriate. And then also looked at the general business / retail, which was 1 space per 200 square feet, which would have only required about 21 spaces, which also didn't feel quite enough. 100 or 21, there's a wide range there. So in the building division's review of the application, they stated that as long as the occupancy stays below 49 people at any given time, that they're not required to go through what's called a change of use. That typically requires an architect to come in and do heavy modifications to a building of that size, or of that space, increase fire suppression, entries and exits, things of that nature. So the planning division felt that limiting the parking to that occupancy load leaves a good happy medium. Because overall, if you have 49 people in there, you can pretty much be sure that there's not going to be 49 individual cars. You'll probably have a few people together, but this allows for that extra little space, a little wiggle room there. So combined, the 3 buildings and properties have roughly 593 parking spaces. We don't anticipate this being an issue in this location whatsoever. This place is usually not filled with parking. We have no issues with that. The only other thing I'll mention is, and I didn't make a slide of it and I apologize, is the landscaping. So the property owner will need to work with staff to do some updates to the landscaping. Mark Boren will work with them during the business licensing section to do some updates there to come into compliance with that. I drove out there today. It is well maintained. It's a very nice property. It just doesn't quite hit the level of the requirements. So we will recommend a condition for the property owner to work with us. So findings here, the proposed use for a community cultural center is allowed in the CD zone, subject to a conditional use permit approval. We believe with the conditions as outlined in the staff report, the proposed use and property will comply with the standards of the Murray City Land Use Ordinance, and the proposed use is not contrary to the goals of the general plan. With that, we are recommending that the Planning Commission approve the conditional use permit to allow the Community Cultural Center at the property address 5284 South Commerce Drive, Units C 154, 134, and 104, subject to the 6 conditions on your screen and located in the staff report. Any questions I can answer at this time?
Looking on the floor plan, I'm assuming they're sharing restroom facilities with the other businesses there on that floor?
Yeah, that is correct. Yeah, I think there are 3 individual buildings. When you look at like this, there's like not a causeway, but just an opening here. So you get 3, and this has shared facilities, this has shared facilities. Then I believe this one also has shared facilities.
And I think you mentioned earlier, most of the use for this cultural center will be, or at least planned to be after general office hours typically.
Yeah, typically, and we can have the applicant address that as well.
Thank you.
Any other questions for staff? Okay, if we could have the applicant come forward. And will you please state your name and address for the record?
Caroline Vaitai at 1283 East, 5840 South in Murray, Utah is my home address.
Great.
5284 South Commerce Drive is the business address.
Thank you. And have you had a chance to review the conditions?
Yes, well, not really, but I kind of listened to him.
Okay. And will you be able to comply with those 6 conditions?
Yeah, as far as the parking and such, this is,
Yeah, I think one of the bigger ones is to have the property owner work with our staff, our planning division staff, to update the landscaping. That's probably,
oh, the landscaping? Yeah, I don't think he'll have
okay.
a problem with that.
And then, yeah, that you'll be able to keep the occupancy below 49, or it will change your parking requirements.
Oh, yeah. Well, we don't have an issue with the parking, because like we had mentioned, we're there in the evenings, after hours, and only because our whole thing is for our culture. We teach our culture, and we podcast back to the island. So the island timing is they're 1 day ahead, 4 hours behind. So we always have to be on, that's why we're on after hours. So there's never an issue with the parking, there's never an issue with the restroom. There's plenty of parking, plenty of restroom. So there's really no problem.
Okay. Would you like to give the commission any additional information about this application and what
What we do?
Yeah.
Yes, I would love to. As far as the store, because we have a lot of, when we first talked about it, a lot of moms like to sell some of the stuff that they make, but they do it from home. They don't have a place to sell it from. So we thought, we can do that. We can have it as a pop-up store. Also, we like to have our culture attire be sold there. So that's probably the only thing that might be open during the day. Right now, it's not even open. We don't have, we haven't set it up yet to what we want. The dance room, right now I have 12 students. And it's so important to us to keep if they dance, they learn the language. And if they learn the language, they'll love the culture. And it's so important to me to teach that. And we do, and they love it. And so not only do I teach the dancing, I also teach the language, because we need to hold on to that. Polynesia is slowly losing it, is losing our culture. Hawaii is trying so hard now to grab hold of their language, I think it's a little late because I don't know anybody who speaks Hawaiian. But I don't want to do that. And I really get my, my drive from the Hispanics. I love how they hold on to their culture. I love how their kids speak both language. So that's what I want. That's what I want. Our cultural hall teaches that. We teach the way, and my husband just passed away 2 days ago.
Oh, my goodness, I'm
And
so
that's the
sorry.
only time we were black, is when we lose someone. And I guess I should have came in with my full attire, because out of respect to others, we have to wear it when we are out in public. But I thought, oh, I think I'll look silly wearing it here, so I took it off. But that's what we teach. We teach our culture, why it's important, why do we love our culture, and why do we need to hang on to it? But it's because of the respect. Bottom line is the respect that we want to teach. I know we had, in the past, there was problem with gangster violence and all that, but now we're really working together in trying to resolve that. And those kids have grown up. They're not doing that anymore. Glendale did not get along with Rose Park or Kearns or West Valley, but they're together now because of the culture. And that's our plan. And our podcast teaches our, one night is, their program is to teach villages, how did they get their name? What happened in that village in the past? And one night is, what culture do we have that you have a question about? So we talk about that. One of the biggest subject that we cover is what's called a fahu, which is your father's sister. Why is she so important? Why is she superior? Why does she say the last word? What does she have the last word in her brother's children? So the kids today, they find that kind of hard, but when we explain it, they understand. So that's, and things, little things like that, we like to teach it. And as for the funeral, we treat our funeral different. We hold it for like a whole week. And that whole week, we go to where the death of the family with the lost. We go there and present our gift, our contribution, take them food to share with everyone else that's coming in to do the same thing. And the younger generations are now doing that on their own. They're just gathering on their own and take their gift. They don't have to go with us older people, but they gather on their own to go take their gift and pay their respect. And that's what this whole thing is about. That's what this whole thing is about. And I'm hoping that I can keep that going. I'm hoping to be that one person, because I always say my battleground is in the four walls of this building. And that's my plan. That's my mission.
Well, thank you so much for being here under these difficult circumstances. We really appreciate you coming tonight. Does the commission have any questions for the applicant? No? Okay. We'll have you take a seat, and we will open this agenda item up for public comment. If there's anyone, you can sit for just a minute.
Thank you.
If there's anyone that would like to speak to this agenda item, we ask that you come to the podium. Okay, seeing,
Any online?
is there any online comments? Thank you for reminding me. All right, then I will close the public comment period and bring it back to the commission for discussion or a motion.
I think this is great. I think it's a great opportunity to keep your culture going. Congratulations.
Chair, I'll make a motion That the planning commission approve a conditional use permit to allow a community cultural center business at the property addressed 5284 South Commerce Drive, Unit C 154, C 134, and C 104, subject to the 6 conditions on the screen.
I have a motion. Is there a second?
Second,
All right. I have a motion by Commissioner Pearson and a second by Commissioner Henry to approve the conditional use permit to allow a community cultural center business at the property address 5284 South Commerce Drive, units C-154, C-134, and C-104, subject to the 6 conditions. Is there any discussion on that motion? Okay, I'll call for a vote.
Perfect. Commissioner Pearson,
Yes.
Commissioner Henry,
yes.
Commissioner Milkovich,
Yes.
Commissioner Haristo,
Yes.
Commissioner Hacker,
Yes.
and Chair Patterson.
Yes. So congratulations. Good luck with your community cultural center. It sounds really wonderful. Thank you for being here tonight again. Okay, it doesn't seem like the applicant has arrived.
We can, if the chair permits, we can have him approach. It's up to you if you want to.
Are you the applicant?
Lucinda just texted me, she said she contacted Zach and told that they did not have to be here tonight because my brother's working at the Taylorsville Temple tonight,
Okay.
and that she contacted Zach and said that they didn't need to be here.
Yeah, maybe there was a miscommunication because we would really like the applicant to be here to present so that
'Cause,
we know that they understand.
Because she just texted me and said, Neil can represent me. I called and let Zach know that I wasn't going to be able to be there. And he told me that that was fine because I had contacted him.
Okay. Commission, how do you, do you
I
have
think
any
there's no
feelings
con-
about this?
There's no, this is not a conditional use permit, so there's no conditions that we would need to talk to the applicant about. So I think I'd be fine moving forward without them here.
I'm frantically looking for the paperwork. I completely agree. I think it's appropriate for us to proceed, but wasn't there, I don't know, where is it?
There was some condition.
Here's a forward to the recommendation to the city council regardless. So
Right.
they're gonna see it again, but I think we're good to move on.
So, just real quick, I agree. I want us to move on, except what does page 3 say? Applying for a zoning amendment, page 1, page 2, page 3. It says representatives must be in attendance. I was gonna ask why it says must be in attendance, and then the next one says, yeah. Why do they need?
Where's that at, Lisa? Where
I
are
think
we?
On this,
The applying for a zoning amendment, paperwork that was sent to us on page 3. And we have in times not required that. That's why I was wondering why it's worded that way there.
Yeah, I mean, that's just the application.
it says if no applicant is present, the planning commission will move on to the next agenda item to reschedule another hearing date.
It'll be up to the applicant to
How
schedule another hearing date.
serious are-
And in the past, that has not been our only action plan.
You're saying,
Is there any immediacy in doing this tonight?
No, I can't understand.
And I prefer to proceed, but I just want us to be consistent with all applicants.
What's been our past
So
practice?
how long do we have to wait if it's not done? Because like I say, we're just
Well-
trying to fix property lines is all, so.
Well, it's rezoning to do the next step, right? Like it would have to go to the city council and before you'd
can
be
they-
able to
can
do the
the-
next step.
Can the request be present via telephone?
I don't know that-
you can have them be present over the phone.
Well, but if they might not be available if they.
Well, in the
Sorry,
past, we voted as a commission whether we felt it was
You-
appropriate or not.
And I think if the commission is comfortable, we have done that in the past where it is allowed to be heard. Yeah,
I mean, I think the applicant has a representative here, kind of.
Yeah.
I don't know if we know that for sure.
So the two things I'm,
I have been,
Sure,
I
yeah.
have been working with the Milnes here. This is the property owner to the south.
Okay.
So it's up to the commission, how you want to proceed though.
before we take a vote, can I just discuss one more thing?
Yeah.
So I 100% support us as a commission talking about and decide what our actions should be. But I also wonder if we could not tonight, and when it's appropriate, address the wording in this document to state that, so that we're always consistent with our
That document is
applicants.
pretty clear.
Yeah,
this
I
document-
mean, that's the application.
Form.
And that's an old application. We have updated the application since then.
I guess-
That's not the same application that
Should
was
we
there.
get opinion from the city council?
Yeah,
Or
where's
from,
the attorney?
Legal counsel for the
You,
city?
you can if you want, but I don't think it's necessary.
Okay.
What was the question?
Well, we need guidance from the attorney, city attorney. As a parent, I see the importance of being consistent.
Okay,
It's up to you guys.
are we in favor of moving
Well,
forward?
you know, would it be appropriate?
Or is there a
to
motion to
Have a
table?
motion to that effect, or with a vote, or is that necessary?
No, we have not done that in the past where you vote whether you're hearing the application or not. You just either decide whether you're
Well-
going to hear it or if you're going to move on.
And then you could
We would-
always do a motion to.
To continue.
Or you could do a motion to not forward it.
So for the purpose of our discussion, I've heard positive statements being stated in favor of continuing the item. I haven't heard any negative in opposition to continuing the item. So I think we're all,
Well, just a question. So is this direction, is this regulation? Is this
No.
a suggestion?
No,
What
this is not, that's not regulation. It's just an application.
but we got to be careful taking power away from our
Well,
formal
is-
written procedure. Don't say that
Well,
one.
I don't have any problem with proceeding, but I don't want to get crosswise of something else.
Anything going
You're not
forward.
invalidating anything by that. No, that is something that's just in the application. And like I said, that's not even the current application. That's an old application. It shouldn't have been
Why is it
included in the
in our
packet. That was my mistake for
Well, I'm kind of
catching
with
that.
Jake, he essentially has kind of an authorized representative. If you call them to come forward.
We can get Lucinda on the phone if you would like us to, and we can have her talk in the mic.
I mean, I hope,
Or you can read the text. We've got it right
this
here.
bill, hopefully what you're hearing is we're supporting you. We just want to do it correctly.
Okay, all right.
What
Just
to
let
do.
us know what you need us to, what
Right.
you.
No, yeah, sorry, you were mentioning the commission, but I think you're thinking too much about this. And you either need to decide whether to hear it or not to hear it, and then we move on.
I think my feeling is, we can hear it. I always like to have the applicant there, especially if there are conditions. So if it wasn't a zone map amendment, I think I definitely would table it, but, because this decision is forwarding to the city council, I feel like, do people
And we have a
Agree.
representative here.
with that? Yeah, that part I'm, like, neutral about, I guess.
I'm good to move forward.
Okay,
Yeah, I would have too.
all
Yeah, and
right.
I think that's ultimately your decision as chair, so.
All right, then, we'll have presentation by staff, and we can have you come up when it's time for the applicant.
All right, thank you very much, Commissioners. So this is a zone map amendment for a property at 5712 South, 800 West. Brent and Lucinda Milne are requesting a zone map amendment of a parcel that currently has a single-family home from the A1 zone to the R18 zone. This change is to facilitate a future subdivision amendment, which will adjust the lot line between the neighbors to the south to allow for future infill development. The reason for the zone change is to ensure that when the lot lines are adjusted, that there will not be a parcel located within the city that staggers two different zones. The property consists of one parcel that is 1.07 acres on the west side of 800 West. The surrounding zoning is almost entirely R18, with the exception of a parcel to the west, which is zoned A1 and is a Murray Power substation. The A1 zone and the R18 zone have a lot of similar characteristics. The main difference is the minimum lot size. In the A1 zone, it is permitted to have a 1 acre lot, whereas in the R18 zone, the minimum lot size is 8,000 square feet. The height is the same between the two different zones. The setbacks are a little bit smaller in the R18 zone due to the smaller lot size. You can see there that the A1 zone has a 30-foot setback in the front. The R18 zone has a 25-foot setback. The rear yard setbacks are the same. In the A1 zone, they have 10-foot yard setbacks, and in the R18 zone, it's a minimum of 8 feet with a total of 20 feet. The corner yards are the same, and the parking requirements are the same. So in our findings, we found that the general plan provides flexibility for the implementation and execution of goals and policies based on different circumstances. The proposed zone map amendment from A1 to R18 has been considered based on the characteristics of the site and the surrounding area. The potential impacts of the change can be managed within the densities and uses allowed by the proposed R18 zone. And the zone map amendment conforms to goals and objectives of the Murray General Plan. And so with all of this in mind, staff recommends the Planning Commission forward a recommendation of approval to the City Council for the zone map amendment from the A1 agricultural zone to the R18 single-family low-density residential as described in the staff report. And I'm happy to take any questions.
No questions? Okay. If we could have the applicant's representative come forward. And will you state your name and address for the record?
Neil Milne, 5748 South, 800 West.
Great. Is there any additional information you'd like to give the commission about this zone change?
The main reason is we're fixing property lines. If you bring that map back up, you'll notice there's a line that goes through a sport court, a swimming pool, and a barn on the south side. And in order to move ahead, we both need to be zoned R18, and we did that years ago. And in order to make all the changes and fix all the property lines, they need to be zoned R18 also. And so that's all we're doing is fixing all the property lines so they don't go through structures.
Okay. Any questions for the applicant?
No.
Okay. Thank you so much. At this time, I will open this item up for public comment. Are there any email comments? Since I don't think
No. There hadn't been. but I'll double
No, I
check.
haven't seen any comments come through.
Seeing none, I will close the public comment period and bring it back for discussion or a motion.
Just question, comment, I guess, and maybe the other zone change we did brings us to mind that it's understood or the applicant understands just because we're making this zone change doesn't constitute any kind of approval with what they can do with that property afterwards.
Technically, you're not giving the zone change. You're just making a recommendation.
Well, making the recommendation for the zone change.
But yeah,
Yes, I understand that.
we tell them up front that this is not granting them any approval for any building or anything like that.
Just because we zone it, or because it's zoned residential, they still have to go through another process?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. All right, thank you.
Any other questions?
No.
Discussion? Is there a motion?
Ms. Chair, I'd like to make a motion that we forward a recommendation of approval to the City Council for the requested amendment of the zoning map destination of the property located at 5712 South, 800 West, from A1 agricultural to 718 single-family low-density residential as described in our staff report.
Is there a second on that motion?
Madam Chairman, I'll second that motion.
Okay, I have a motion by Commissioner Malkovich and a second by Commissioner Hacker to forward a recommendation of approval to the City Council for the requested amendment to the zoning map designation of the property located at 5712 South, 800 West from A1 agricultural to R18 single-family low-density residential as described in the staff report. Is there any discussion on that motion?
No.
Okay, we can take a vote.
Commissioner Malkovich,
Yes.
Commissioner Hacker,
Yes.
Commissioner Pearson,
Yes.
Commissioner Haristo,
Yes.
Commissioner Henry,
Yes.
and Chair Patterson.
Yes. So it will go to the City Council, so watch for that. That'll be your next step. Thank you.
Thank you for being here.
Yeah, thanks for filling in. Okay, is there any other business?
Just a couple things. Let me know if you're not gonna be able to attend the June 20th, I believe. Who just told me they weren't gonna be? Ned? Yeah, I thought it was.
I won't be here.
Yeah. It's a hefty one. I think 9 total items, so take 3 off that, 6. So, one of them though is pretty exciting. It's a discussion item at the end about, the form-based code that we're working on, with the downtown. It's kind of just giving you a primer, kind of tell you what it is, what it isn't. Yeah,
And then no meeting the 4th.
no meeting the
4th of
4th.
July.
That is a question that I wanted to bring up to you guys, is, would you want to have, so I can do this 2 ways. I could ask if we can put off the discussion and hold possibly a special meeting, sometime in July, either before July 4th or after, or would you rather just have a little bit longer meeting on the June 20th? Do you guys have a preference either way?
I think I would like different meetings to make it not long, but I'm open to it,
Yeah,
commissioners.
Yeah, I would agree.
I guess it maybe depends on what
What
day
day?
you do it.
yeah,
instead
and I
of
can
the
send out,
4th.
I could send out a doodle poll to you guys.
Okay.
Because I was almost gonna say the opposite, I'd rather just get it all done.
Yeah, and I can
Yeah,
send you a
that's
doodle
right.
poll to see
Another-
if,
Take
and-
2 nights to do it.
yeah.
So Zach, that form-based code is something that so many cities all over the state have adopted form-based code. So there's probably something that you could even send out to the commission, like here's a standard form-based code that's been adopted by whatever, XYZ city.
Yeah.
It's
We just
pretty
want-
basic stuff.
Yeah, Mark with Voda, he's the one that we chose. He wants to make sure that you guys are part of the process every step of the way.
I see.
If you're curious, you can listen to the same speech on the council that was just done, 2 days ago. He presented to the council, I think it was this week. I don't remember anymore. Yeah, this past Tuesday.
It was 2 days ago.
Yeah. It's been a whirlwind. But yeah, I'll send out an email and you guys can respond, with some days. And then we'll see. If not, I think we'll get through most of the items pretty quickly,
Oh, okay.
on
I mean,
the
just
20th.
as like chairing a 9-item meeting is like,
Yeah.
I'd rather it be shorter, but.
Right, yeah. So, yeah, other than that, yeah, things are going. I'm gonna keep an eye out for some new trainings for you guys, cause we're at the halfway mark for the year. You all are required to have 4. Yeah, so we'll figure that out too,
Okay.
so. Yeah, that's about it.
Maybe you could have a separate meeting on this code.
And
And do
training.
some training.
Yeah.
Good idea. Any other business? Is there a motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn at 7:24 PM.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Meeting adjourned.